Hey YouTube, it's Brian here, the Unlikely Runner, just doing a post-race review. My last race was the Penguin Pace 5K in Wayne, New Jersey. It's the second annual event, and I'll tell you, there was some changes that I really liked about the race, and there were some things I really didn't like. Let me take you through those really quickly here. First off, they took the course from a 2.67 mile to a full 5K. They did have it registered, and it is now a 500 point event. So, it attracted a slightly larger crowd than last year. Just because of the fact that it's now a 5K. There were some other races that had been the same weekend that were not renewed this year. So I don't know if that had any bearing on this race or not. I will tell you though, there was a pretty good turnout, despite it being rather cold that morning. And it was funny because I was looking at the weather and comparing it to the previous year. And I think it was about 4 degrees warmer this year than it was last year. And it certainly didn't feel it, though. Anyhow, overall, a really nice event. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend getting out there and running that race. Supporting that group. It does support a local food bank, and feeding the hungry. So get out there, support them, support this race. Just for no other reason other than that. Great. I will tell you that the 2.67 mile course was relatively flat, with just some minor rolling hills. They changed the course. You have the 2.67 miles that you had previously, but now they added on an extra half a mile, and they run it up through the hills, through some residential area, and they start you off rather quickly. It was kind of interesting, because I wasn't familiar with the course. I took off a little slower than I normally would have, just because I was curious about the course changes, and knowing that the course was going to be relatively easy, but I wasn't sure about the changes. They take you up through some residential area, and there's some pretty big hills, and I saw a lot of people take them way too fast and burn out way too fast, and didn't have enough gas in the tank to finish the race as strong as they had started it. So while I don't mind it, it certainly wasn't awful. It's something to keep in mind for next year if you plan on running this race. There is a pretty good section there where there's some pretty good hills, and it's going to challenge you. So, based on your fitness level, if you take off really quickly, you're probably going to finish very quickly. If you've trained all winter. I unfortunately was not able to train the way I had hoped, just because of the runner's knee. I will give you an update on that. The runner's knee is basically no more. I've been out putting lots of miles down, increasing it, and I've been running it without the brace, and have had no issues, no pain, and just feeling really good. And I'm really looking forward to the next few months, because I have some really fun races coming up. Some repeats of last year, and I won't be recording them. I will do a post-race, and I'll probably do a pre-race check-in, just just as a follow-up, because the experiences from year to year can really change. While I had a really good experience last year, it may not be the case this year, or had a rough race last year. It may be, it may have just been me. So I'm going to try to be, as objective as possible, and come back and re-review some of these races. I am looking at a whole bunch of new races, though. specifically some half marathons. The reasoning for that is my daughter was recently selected through the lottery to run the New York City Marathon in November, and so I'm going to help her with her training and get the miles in necessary to build up the fitness required to complete that race successfully. I want her to have to finish that race and feel really good about her performance and feel good about the race that she puts down, because it really is a difficult race to get into, and it is definitely something that might not happen for a while. So you got to take it and really, for all intents and purposes, run with it. Anyhow, getting back to the Penguin Pace 5K, some of the things I didn't like that they had the registration outdoors this year. It was really cold, and those people were outside for quite a while, and I felt really bad for them. And they were tucked away in kind of a corner there along the building, and they were tough to see if you were coming up the road after the parking lot had filled up, which is happened rather quickly, honestly. And I had a tough time finding the registration table. Post-race, last year they had hot cocoa outside. They had a truck serving it. You just showed up with your cup and got your cocoa and went on your way. This year they had it in the basement, and the line was extremely long. I did appreciate the fact that it was an actual porcelain mug or an actual coffee cup versus the plastic travel mug that we had last year. Really, I really liked the mug. I did not like the way that the hot cocoa was run this year. The line was way too long. After I got my mug, I just left because I couldn't sit around and wait. And what was really interesting was the raffle at the end of everything. A lot of people during the awards ceremony left. They got their medals and they left. They didn't stick around for the raffle, and the raffle was not a true raffle. As much as they'd like us to believe it wasn't a true raffle. It wasn't a raffle at all. It was really just random selection of available bib numbers that were still standing around waiting to see what happened. And I don't know if everybody caught on to it. I don't know if most people caught on to it, or I don't care. I don't know if people even cared. It was kind of funny. Maybe mixing the raffles in with the awards during the awards ceremony would keep people to the end. To kind of build that rapport and that build the suspense, I guess. But it thinned out rather quickly as soon as the medals had been given out. Again, I'm just thumbs up. Really nice race, and it's tough to find a nice race that early in February, and I look forward to running it again. And I'll see you guys next year. And to those of you that are watching, thanks for checking out my videos, and like, subscribe, comment, and thanks again.